look at questions like social media and the internet and radicalization and violent extremism and terrorism, we got to be careful when we ascribe too much importance to what's going on online. There's no question that the online media and online environments have really changed the ways in which people share information and the ways in which they can receive information about how to travel and where not to go and things like that. But at the end of the day, radicalization is a human phenomenon. It's a social phenomenon, which means that it's really rare, if in fact non-existent, for somebody to go online, by their own, look at a few websites, watch a few videos, and somehow radicalize miraculously into a jihadi. It doesn't work that way. So yes, social media is really, really important, but even within the social media environment, it's still about interaction. It's about sharing information. It's about having your doubts resolved. It's about having your beliefs confirmed, and that is done increasingly through social media. But again, the social media itself isn't really a game changer in the sense that it hasn't created kind of like more radicalization. It's just changed the way in which radicalization takes place. Different people will use social media in different ways, and one case I'll simply cite as an example of how the social media is being used is the case out in Vancouver, and this is the infamous Project Souvenir, which was a plot to explode pressure cooker bombs outside the Victoria Legislature on Canada Day in 2013. The two perpetrators, John Nuttall and Amanda Karodi, have been found guilty. And they're appealing their conviction on entrapment charges. That's a whole other matter. But it's interesting to look at what John Nuttall, who was the main character, was doing with the internet. And essentially, as a convert, he was using it to confirm what he thought Islam was all about. So he was asking all kinds of questions on Islamic websites. He was downloading all kinds of videos from extremist sites. He was listening to nasheeds, which are these hauntingly a cappella music that the jihadis use. And so I think that as somebody living in a fairly isolated environment, he'd been basically ostracized because of his views from the regular community. He used the online environment to try and deepen his knowledge of Islam and to confirm what he felt was obligatory on Muslims, which is violent jihad. First of all, the sheer volume of data. And we're now getting examples of individuals who are arrested and their communications devices are being looked at, and we're talking terabytes of data. Now, I'm not a technical guy. I don't know what that means. I know it's a lot of information, and it takes months and months and months to go through this stuff. We heard, for example, the bin Laden trove that was taken when he was killed in May of 2011. They're still going through that stuff, and that was bin Laden, who wasn't the greatest technical guru on the planet. The second element, of course, is the encryption and the inability to process this. The infamous Apple versus FBI debate you're seeing right now in the United States. Two former senior CSIS officials, Ray Boisvert and Luc Portelas, recently wrote an op-ed piece in Canada about us going dark. And we had to figure out a way to process and to get beyond these firewalls and these encryption methods, and we have to find a way in which we can cooperate with telecommunications providers and technology firms like Apple, because we are rapidly reaching a point, from what I understand, again, not a technical expert, that more and more data is becoming inaccessible to law enforcement and security agencies, so that even if you have a warrant from a federal court, you can get the data, you can't process it. So I think that going forward, we're going to see more and more use of this type of technology, and it'll be a challenge to figure out how to exploit it.